Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your Metal Market Wrap-Up, and this wrap-up is for the evening of Tuesday, and this is the 16th of April, 2024, 6:15 p.m., and that is Central Time. All right, gold down a bit, silver. You know, this morning I started, and I did tell in my written updates today, I said, be careful here. I think silver's going to start losing the gold in a sizable fashion. And it did today, and it isn't gaining much back tonight as they're both down nearly $700, $800 a piece. Copper market also gave some funds back along with the platinum. The dollar was up. So what went on? In a nutshell, Fed Chair Powell today was I guess you would call it an interview with the Canadian central banker, the head of the Bank of Canada, and it certainly came out very clearly that the Fed is on hold for a longer time than people think until the economic data slows down. And he made it very clear. So we saw that said. We've seen it in the marketplace. We're seeing that you don't even get bounces in the bonds in the notes. They're just continuing to grind higher. 2-year notes up to the 5% level now. In the energy markets, there's a lot going on behind the scenes as Western allies of Israel are rushing in Europe and in the United States to put together more sanctions on Iran. Will they go as far as banning Iranian oil sales to China? No. The Biden administration would never do that. Oil prices would spike probably. If that spike takes place, he loses votes. So that counters the open border policy where all these people can come in and vote for the presidency. He's not going to do that. So it'll be something else. Will it appease Israel? Because Israel canceled its third war cabinet meeting today as I'm sure the allies asked them, hold off on what you're doing. Let's see what we can come up with, and we'll see how long that can last. Okay. I think that's a benefit for all of us, but we'll see what happens. So far, sanctions haven't stopped Iran. They sell nearly 1.9 million barrels a day to China. China willingly buys it. And if they cut it off from China, that creates another problem. So that brings us back to the metal markets. Where might they go? So let's take a look. First of all, for the week, you're up 1.2%, up $28.50. Market's gone very nicely higher. It hasn't gone up to the old highs, but it's certainly still in a bent to the upside. You've got now higher lows, higher highs. You've reestablished the uptrend in the market. The support, unfortunately, is still down at the 2307 level. Where's the resistance? The upper Bollinger Band. That number's 2455. You keep hearing traders talk now that the $27,000 to $3,000 range is the next setup for the gold market. May well be. I don't know. What I do know is the market lost, and I'll show you this. You had what's called a bear trap. You lost the embedded reading on Monday night. Today, Tuesday, you come back, you regain the reading, and you're barely holding on tonight. Any sizable loss, in other words, you get under today's lows of Tuesday, that will probably have you lose the reading again. My experience has been it's rare that you lose the reading, get it back, lose it, and it comes back up. It generally goes down, and that would mean some lower prices ahead if that occurs. We talked yesterday that silver was starting to gain. It had reversed this whole decline. The word reverse means it ended it. That's all that I'm saying. You could be going back to the 86 level before you run into any real resistance. And in the silver market, you not only lost the bullish embedded reading, let me show you this right here. You flirted with losing it on Monday. You lost it, and you haven't gained it back so far. If it stays lost before you get up here, you might come down. Now, before I go too far, and I want to finish up the rest of the charts with you, let's talk a little bit of tomorrow's reports. You get the Mortgage Bankers Association coming out, and they'll be coming out at 6 in the morning. The EIA petroleum stocks. The most important report, probably the Fed Beige Book, where we see what the different regions are doing, where the central banks are and what they're saying about the economies. One other thing before I go back to the charts, and I will go back to them in a minute. I did, and this is probably my first special report of the year. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, as I told you that I would be. And This is your special currency report, and it's on today, the Eurocurrency. I discuss, could the market be going back towards the parity level? And I bring in all kinds of analysis. So we're going to be looking at price counts. We're going to be looking at seasonal charts. We're going to be looking at many types of seasonal charts, more than one in this particular report, then the weekly charts, the daily charts. I give you my reasons why I think the euro is going to fall against the dollar, where I think the first supports are. You can either go to give us a call. You can go to our website to view this, by the way. And how do you do that? You just move your cursor to the top up here, move your link, and go there. If you want to see it on the website, all you need to do is go to iraepstein.com and under the word education. When you click that on, you will see it there as well, okay? Both ways that you can do it. If you're on my mailing list and you haven't blocked our emails, we sent out an email notification. A lot of people have looked at it already. It's about 10, 12 minutes long. It gives a lot of detail on what I think on this, why I think about it, and where the numbers seem, in my opinion, to be heading, okay? All right, so let's go back and finish up what we were talking about. So as we come to the charts here, we saw where the silver was. The copper market's flirting with doing the same thing. If it loses the embedded reading, more downside ahead. Why suddenly is this happening? I think because Fed Chair Powell reiterated again, higher for longer. Now, tonight at, I think it's 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central, Miss Lagarde will be on CNBC in a full interview. You may want to get to that and record it, because I saw excerpts of it today, and it certainly looks like she's becoming quite dovish, and it looks as though they're leaning to the downside, maybe a June cut. I don't see how the U.S. moves in June. I think State Street's the only major analyst firm left that is predicting a June cut. Maybe they'll be right. I don't see how. In the platinum market, as I said, this is a follower market, never did embed, turning back down, supports all the way back here. And the dollar index, you know, you've been over now a couple of days, 3 days over the upper band. Be careful. Markets have a tendency to find a way to pull back in it. It's rare that you go over 5. It can happen, but it's not a common event. So again, if you want to take a look at my special report, it's only for 3 days, by the way, on the website. So because I put it up today, Tuesday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's coming off Friday. So go look at it, iraepstein.com. You have yourself a good evening.